Welcome to Worlds Apart, Words Together, where best friends share laughter, stories, and unbreakable bond. And we are back this week, and it is just me and Mari again.
Yep,
Um,
the best
but
duo.
yeah, but we are bringing to you a fun and positive outlook podcast today.
Yeah, it is episode 46, which is pretty amazing that we've almost done
A year.
52. Yeah, I mean, it's probably been close to a year because we've skipped a few weeks here and there to focus on some things in our personal
It's
lives.
like early October, I think.
Yeah, so we're October
Almost,
10th, something like that.
we're almost
So
at our
we're
1 year.
close to 1 year, and that's pretty exciting.
It is.
Um, So, for the people who listened last week, we talked about limitations and how to, not really how to set limitations for yourself, but more so why having limitations are important or is important
Yeah, just
for you.
understanding what your personal limitations are.
Yeah. And what the benefits of that could be for you. And that it's just all about self evaluating and knowing who you are and what it is that you want to achieve in life and blah, blah, blah. All of that fun stuff. And today we're going to continue on a topic similar, I guess, a little bit. Not really at all, but it
No,
all
I don't
falls.
think.
It all falls within the same spectrum.
I don't think it really has. No, no, this
No,
one's
it's very different. I just felt like saying it, I guess.
no. So this week we are talking about how life is a chain reaction, and that it is important to appreciate all of life's experiences and ups and downs and unexpectations. Is that a word?
Unexpectancies?
Unexpectancies. There you go.
I think so. I think that's a word. And if not, we just created a new word that can be added into the dictionary.
There we go.
Yeah, because the word expectancies is a word. So I think the word unexpectancies is also
I
a
think so.
word.
I think so.
I think so too. Yes. So we kind of talked about this a little bit when we had Georgia as a guest on our podcast. And we talked about how certain events of life put you into the place where you are now in life. Basically, what that means is that what happened before your current situation obviously is what led you to be in the situation. But if the event before that didn't happen, you wouldn't be in the event after that, which wouldn't lead you to be in the event you are now.
So life
It's
is basically a domino
it
effect.
basically is a
Chain
big
reaction.
domino. Um, and I think there are different perspectives you can take on this because, you can be thinking of like, okay, everything happens for a reason. And I like to be a believer of that. However, I also think certain things that happen in life are really without reason. Certain car accidents, like just more bad things that happen in life. I don't like to think that there is a reason behind that because why would there be a reason that somebody is getting hurt in a way? Whenever something negatively happens in my life, I always like to think this negative thing that set me back happened because it's setting me up for something better.
I think it doesn't just have to be negative either. I mean, I think it can also be positive. We just, because it is a positive, we don't sit and think about it as much as
I
a
agree.
negative event.
Yeah, because whenever something positive happens to me, I'm not going to be contemplating what happened and be like, I wish something else had happened. So I'm going to justify why this good thing happened. But when something negative happens in your life, it's like, oh, but it must be because it's setting me up for something better. Like, why else would it happen? And when
Yeah,
something
and
good happens, it's like, oh, it had to be this all along.
yeah, and I mean something that I heard, especially when I entered college, from my parents and just from family members and friends, it was, it'll be worth it in the end. And at that time, you're like, what is the end? The end is never gonna
Do
come.
you feel like the end has come?
No. However, I think the further you get down your life, you have more to kind of look back on.
Yeah.
And obviously, the older you get, you're going to have more to look back on. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
You can still sit and, like, for example, take my current situation and, you know, big new job, blah, 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 and look back and say, was everything that I went through in the last 7 years worth it? And of course, you can pick out the things of like, oh, well, that definitely wasn't worth it. Like, you can pick out things, right? But as a whole, like my second undergrad degree, was that worth it? No, but it's okay. Um, but also, yes, because I kept swimming. But
See, and that swimming then let you to also do your master's, which
yeah,
then
so
let you to be here and get more experience in the lab. And
yeah, so I think looking back, the further you get, it's harder when you're young. Okay, look at me, I'm 26, but it's harder when you're young. But
yeah,
even
damn, you are
now,
26.
I'm so old. I'm
Jesus.
rapidly approaching 30, guys. It's bad.
That's
It's bad.
scary.
I'm closer to 30 now than I am 20. Because I've gone through 7 years of life experience, like real life experience, it's easier for me to look back and pick out those things of like, okay, I really thought that was not worth it and I really struggled with that. But honestly, it wasn't that bad and it has, played out for the best, and I'm here now. So I think it's just one of those things where it's hard to do. It is, to sit and look back, but once you have an accumulation of these experiences, I think it becomes easier to see that pathway.
Well, and that kind of honestly, I said it last week and I will say it again. You can only compare yourself to yourself, but this time it's in a different context. It's in a context of compare yourself to the position you were in 5 years ago and think about what your dreams were or what you wanted to achieve and if you made it, if you're in that position. Like a good example is Michael and I sometimes struggle living together. As any, I feel like any couple that just moved in together has their own issues and their own things they need to work through. But looking back at 2 years ago, this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to be together, we wanted to live together, and we're here, we're doing it. So instead of always trying to find the negative things that aren't going so well for us while living together, we try to focus more on the fact that we do get to fall asleep next to each other. We do get to wake up next to each other. I do get to come home and make dinner and have dinner with my man. So, like those little things. So, was the long distance hard? Sure, it was. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was. And it's the same goes for any sort of training that you do for sports. Look at all the training we did for swimming. Was it all worth it? I don't know.
I was waiting for the no.
Well, I wouldn't say no because when I think back at swimming, it's like, did I achieve what I wanted to achieve? No. However, I did get to swim for the Dutch national team. I did get to go to Lindenwood and meet you and swim there for 4 years while I had education. It also allowed me to go back to the US and swim for Lewis, which then made me meet Michael. So it's like, did I achieve with swimming what I wanted to achieve? No, but the chain reaction that swimming provided did leave me with great things. Otherwise, I would have never met you if it
It's
wasn't for
true.
swimming. And we would have never even been here doing this podcast right now, which I'm gladly that we are because it's a pretty cool project that we're doing. So I think of all the negative things that happen in life, and sure, some things are way more detrimental than other things, but I'd say I don't want to put it in a box because there are life experiences that are very traumatic and very just you can get an injury that you will never recover from, or you can get into an accident that you will never recover from. And I will not justify those situations because they're horrible. But simple situations like a sport. Yeah, maybe the sport sucked while you were doing it, but you wouldn't have met the great people along the way. You wouldn't have been to those places to compete. You wouldn't have been on a training trip to Puerto Rico or to Hawaii. Um, so it's like even if the event itself or the experience didn't really provide you with the satisfaction you wanted from it, it could still have brought you so many good things without you even realizing it. I may have gone on a rant there, but I hope you kind of get my point.
No, I think it is a good point, and I think it is important to realize more so, like, in the moment. So, like, yeah, of course, it's easy to look back and be like, oh, yeah, like, look where I am now. And look, yeah, those were totally worth it. Like, I have the job of my dream, or I'm living my dream life, or whatever. And you can look back and say, oh, yeah, all those times I cried, and all those times that, you know, I was so frustrated that I couldn't talk to anyone, or, you know, yeah, all those times are worth it. However, it's much harder to recognize that in that instance unless you constantly train yourself to think that way.
Which
Because
is hard.
it is hard, but at the same time, it's worth it because there is one thing that I think everyone should keep in the back of their head is you don't grow from something that's easy.
No.
And if you look at it from that perspective, like you take on every instance of your life that's challenging as a way to grow, your life chain reaction, it will happen. Like you'll be able to look back after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year. Oh, yeah, that was totally worth it. You
I
didn't just shut
agree.
down.
However, though, I think it's very unrealistic to try to be in that mindset at all times because there are going to be days where you just feel like ass.
Oh, I'm not saying you're not going to feel like that because I
Well,
think
in
it.
those moments, I don't feel the appreciation for things that are happening. Not really.
I mean, I think it varies by person. Oh my goodness.
I dropped my AirPods. I'm
I
sorry.
think I think it varies by person and it varies by situation. Because like take school for example. If there's a class that's like super hard and I'm putting in all this work to pass it.
Yeah, are you appreciative of that in that moment when
For
you're
something
struck?
like that, I could say I think from even my past experiences, I'm like, yeah, if it's a class that I know is going to benefit me from having in the long run, then I'm willing to put in the effort because like I
No,
have
no,
to get
no.
to it and like
That
I
point I
will appreciate the
understand.
challenge because I think as much as I really hate putting in that much effort, I know it's going to benefit me and I know that the positivity that would come from passing that
Yeah.
class.
I know, I totally
Obviously
get that point.
there's different situations and obviously everyone reacts to a situation different. Like there's been situations in my life where it's like I can't really see the positive in it and you're like,
Yeah.
huh, is that really worth it? Like take for example my like Hunter and I living in different states and him staying back in Missouri to like finish up his full-time job. Literally this past weekend I texted him. We were talking about flights to my my brother's wedding because they're, $800 round trip to get to Maryland from Missouri or Connecticut. And
Jesus.
I literally, like, I texted him because we were talking about flights, and I said, I really hope that you staying in Missouri is worth it.
He's not going?
No, no, for like these next 7 months,
Oh,
like from him not moving up when I did.
yeah.
And that is a great example from me not seeing the positive in him moving, because I don't see, he doesn't have a job yet up here. He doesn't have, like, I don't know what his income is going to be up here. Like, there's certain things that's like,
No.
we're going into debt because we're paying for two places, we're doing this, we're doing, like, the negatives keep wrapping up and ramping up and adding to the list. And it's hard for me to see that positive.
Fair. And also, you wouldn't have known if he would have gotten a job if he moved with you back
He
then.
never looked, like, he never made
Exactly.
that an option. So
So,
it's one of those things which I think is a great instance, because you always hope in the long run the decisions that you make pan out and
yeah.
work work for your betterment, and enhance your life. But that thought that I had this weekend about him staying there, because I was looking at our bills and our debt and trying to buy flights and all this stuff. It's like, I didn't see the positive in that.
No.
And a situation like that, like, of course you're not always going to see that positive.
No. No, and that's what I meant also by saying, like, it's very unrealistic to always have that mental
Mhm.
attitude of like things are great. I'm gonna see everything turn out the way it's supposed to. Like, we're gonna have ups and downs through life, and that's normal. Um, but it is okay to also be grateful and appreciative of the little things that are going well for you that life throws at you. It's like if it's an extra sunny day instead of rain. Like, I had a no, for real. Like, yesterday, one of my clients, I went over and he was like, "Oh, it's such a wonderful day," and they predicted rain all day, and now I'm gonna go for a walk and enjoy the sunshine. Like, he was so appreciative of that extra little bit of sunshine that day instead of the rain. That's like, why not be appreciative of it?
Yeah, I mean, it is important to appreciate the small things and celebrate the small things, because honestly, those are the things that almost matter more in your life journey, because life is not all about reaching a goal. It's about
No,
enjoying
the journey.
the journey of your life, because your life, how do I put it? Everyone's going to die. So
Jesus.
just putting it out there.
Did I make that one of the quotes?
Yeah,
Like,
everyone's
everyone's dying.
okay. So everyone's life ends in death. I mean, that's just the nature of life.
No,
And
let
so
me
you
put it
can't,
worse for you. You're dying the moment you are born.
well, not quite. Not quite.
Well,
Your cells regenerate until the age of 32? No, 20, 26. No, I'm dying now.
so you're dying.
I'm
Okay,
dying now. You're
well,
still
it
living.
was it was good to meet
Um,
you.
yeah. No, so there's no point on making your life all about a goal, because when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, huh, define your life by whether or not you met one goal. You're going
No,
to look back. And it's the same way how, when my grandfather died, like, yeah, it was sad that he had gone, but he was suffering. But also, it's like he lived a very large, full life that should be celebrated because of everything that he accomplished and
yeah,
everything that he experienced. And that's what life is about, is celebrating those small things, the big things,
yeah.
the ups, even the downs, if you can try to celebrate them or accept them. I guess not really celebrate, but accept them, because that is the
Yay, I
journey.
failed my exam today.
It's just one of those things that life is about the journey. And
Yeah.
that's something I feel like you don't really appreciate until you, I don't want to say reach a certain age, or like reach a certain experience level in life, where
I
you
think
just,
there is a turning point, and life where humans start to enjoy those little things more. And it's not a set age. I think some people reach that point in life way later. I feel like I've already like reached that point a little bit where it's like, oh my god, I get to just read my book tonight with a blanket and a cup of hot tea, and I'm fulfilled, you know? Or oh my god, I get to eat tonight. I get to make my own dinner. Like that's pretty cool.
Do you think about that? Like, oh, I get to do my laundry today.
No, but the other day when I was doing laundry, I was like, it would have really sucked if washing machines didn't exist. Because I'm over here complaining about how I need to put my laundry in the washing machine, while back in the day, they didn't have those.
Right? You
And
just
now I
deserve.
just need to throw it in and let it do its thing. And I'm complaining.
Sorry, I just had to bring that up. I don't know why.
I feel like laundry is just one of those things that nobody can like. Like, are there people that like doing laundry?
I don't mind the act of doing laundry. I don't like folding.
Exactly. Like that's the whole. I've done a lot of loads of laundry, and they've just been piling up in the laundry basket to be put away. And I just take out the stuff that I want to use. It's like it's a nice little reusable pile.
Okay, that is a great example of what we're trying to talk about.
How so?
Because things in life pile up, like your laundry, right?
Shit, that's deep.
So
Well,
things,
actually, it's very high, not even deep.
so things in life pile up, right? And good and bad, right? Things just pile up. Good experiences, bad experiences, everything in between. We can look at it one or two ways. We're gonna take out the negative things and learn from them, and
And
just
use them again.
yeah, and learn from those experiences. Or we can take out the positive things and be like, okay, that big pile of negatives was worth these positives.
I think it makes sense a little bit. So you're comparing life experiences to a
To
pile
your
of
stack of
laundry.
laundry.
Clean laundry, though.
Clean laundry, yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
stuff that you don't use, like,
Is that
no.
the negative experiences?
Yeah. Or it's the positive ones, and then you take out the negative ones and build off of them and learn from them. So you can keep adding to your good experiences.
Okay. I see where you're going. No, but Leah's right. We learn from things in our life, and to kind of talk about this whole chain reaction thing. If one certain event in your life didn't happen, you wouldn't have moved on to the next event. You wouldn't have moved on to the next event. You wouldn't have moved on to the next event. So it's like, if you weren't born, you wouldn't be here right now. But that also means if your parents didn't meet when they did, you wouldn't be here right now. And so on. If your grandparents didn't meet, if your whole lineage didn't meet. So it's like entirety of life is a chain reaction, and it's pretty.
It's called organic chemistry.
You just had to put it in there, didn't you?
You open the door to life is a chain reaction.
It is called organic chemistry, sure. But you can also look at it at a spiritual, philosophical, whatever way you want to look at it. It's pretty damn impressive that we are here the way that we are right now because of what happened earlier in the world.
It's true. And that's why if you think about it too hard, you get lost.
No, I'm so lost right now. I I started this podcast episode thinking this would be a great topic to talk about, but honestly, I think I've confused myself more. um, but it's okay.
I think, yeah, because this episode has definitely just turned on to me and Margaret just rambling now, but that's okay because that's what we like to do.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's been probably the first episode that we've really just rambled.
Rambled. Yeah, that's actually pretty good in the first year. Like we've only done one like this.
Yeah, which we
Um,
usually do all the time to each other. So
honestly, you're just getting a daily insight into what our life is like.
it's exhausting.
Very, but but I think it is. As you can tell, we're just like telling life experiences and just some random thoughts that come into our head. But this is a way of appreciating life because we have the opportunity to think of these random analogies and these random thoughts and to kind of make it enjoyable because like I said, it's life isn't about reaching a singular goal. It's about enjoying your relationships and enjoying, your
Things that
work
you do.
and the things, your hobbies and the things that you do, and really take kind of like a step back and appreciate what life has had to offer you. And that also means appreciate the good, obviously, but at a more difficult level, appreciate the negative and the hardships and the challenges because as I mentioned,
Without those, you
yeah,
wouldn't
as
be
I mentioned,
here either.
yeah, um, I think I said it earlier, like you can't grow and you can't become who you are without those challenges. And so that in itself is a reason to be accepting and grateful for those challenges.
Yeah, as much as you're being thrown around and pushed down by life sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think if anyone ever said that life was easy, I would question their definition of easy
Yes.
because in my experience, life definitely has not been easy. But it was my birthday this weekend, and as you sit alone for 4 weeks after some wine and you understand that you're
Uh oh.
rapidly approaching 30 in menopause, you kind of think about a lot. And one of the thoughts was, I'm 26 and what am I doing?
That's a fair thought to have.
And I really had to like think about that. And that was probably my one really big negative thought, other than, gosh, I really hate being alone. But there was also, I was like, well, a lot had to fall into place to get me to where I am at 26. Like, I've had probably more life experience than someone in their 30s and 40s, and I am 26. And when I framed it from that perspective, I was accepting of the ups and downs. And I was like, like I had the opportunity to live with Marit and have groups of friends in undergrad that, I could just walk over to their dorm and or they come to our dorm and just like hang out and chill and have a great time. And I'm at 26 and I can look back on that and say, I'm thankful I had that. I miss it now. It's kind of weird not having that. Like I do miss that aspect of it, but I am thankful that I had that experience. And although it sucks to sit here every night and every weekend by yourself, it was nice to be able to just look back and say, all those experiences. Yeah, undergrad took me 2 years longer than a normal person, but look at all the people and all the experiences I had, and look at that roundabout long way has gotten me to where I am now, and
Yeah.
that would not have happened if I had done my streamlined envisionment of what my college experience was going to be.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to kind of leave this episode with is a challenge for the people who listen to this episode to kind of sit with yourself and think of what are you appreciative of? whether it's positive or negative, or just think about your life events and how you wouldn't have been in the position you are right now if those events didn't happen. And picture some things that you're grateful for in this life and that you miss or you still have. But I think that would be a good challenge for yourself, and hopefully that will kind of shift your perspective on life, because life isn't all that serious. Like, I even talked about a client with it about this with a client today. And it's like, it's so crazy to me what we did to this world as humans. And I think that's a whole other conversation for a different time because it's too much to go into. But just the way that we're doing things right now, and we have taxes and we have insurances, and it's like, what did we do?
Who thought of this?
Who in their right mind? They probably weren't in their right mind. But we put so much expectation on life when we're really here to just reproduce and continue. I think that's all we're here to do, basically.
Yeah, let's just not open that can of worms of why we're here.
No, that's another like branch of that can of worms, is that a good friend of mine once said, like, humans are the only species that are so self-aware that we think about what it's like to be dead.
I don't think about what it's like to be dead. Who does that?
A lot of people do. A lot of people think about death and what comes after, and we're just very self-aware species.
Okay, well, thinking about what comes after death is one thing, but to think about what death feels like, and
Well, in a way, just the concept of death in general. Like, we as humans think about that concept, while other organisms, they just live and they die. And that's all. They have babies. But yeah,
yeah.
it's a topic for a different time
So
because
let's
it's
just
way too deep.
yeah. So Mara just went on some like random path.
My brain's been all over the place today. I'm sorry.
But I do think if you've made it this far into this interesting podcast, congratulations. And welcome to a true insight into our mind.
It's
And
fucked
also
up here.
sorry, kind of, not really, that it was like this. Um, but we would like to hear about some challenges that you guys have faced. How you think it has positively influenced you in the long run.
Or negatively.
Or negatively, I guess.
I mean, certainly there are experiences that have influenced people in a negative way.
But you could always look at the positive of that negative experience, that negative impact.
Sure.
So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up. And
We
again,
should.
our challenge for all of our listener, is
Georgia.
to again sit with yourself and think about what you're appreciated of, what you appreciate, and why, and how it's gotten you to where you are today.
Yep. So let us know if you think of something. It could be through a private message. It could be as a comment under our video or YouTube podcast, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But with that, we want to thank you for joining us as we offer a glimpse into fucked up minds, but also true friendship, where even though worlds may seem apart, the connection remains strong. Thank you guys, and see you next week.